Okay, the International Longshoremen's Association is officially on strike. Major ports from the East Coast down to the Gulf are pretty much closed, affecting a huge part of the country's imports. Is this the catalyst that will bring back nationwide inflation? Not likely, but higher prices for certain things are on the table. Let's talk about it.
Well, this video is going to age like milk because overnight the ILA reached a tentative agreement with stakeholders and have agreed to a 61.5% wage increase over 6 years, I believe. What still needs to be negotiated is the contractual protections against automated workflows. So, what they're going to do is they're going to extend their existing contract to January 15th of 2025. Does that mean that the rest of this video is absolutely useless? I don't think so. It's an interesting story, and it also lays the foundation for what could be an issue come January 15th if they can't reach an agreement. So sit back and enjoy the show.
The ILA is a unionized labor group that primarily deals with the physical loading and unloading of cargo to and from ships. They're the workforce that facilitates the movement of goods throughout the ports. So without them, cargo sits there. The ILA has been in negotiations with the stakeholders that oversee the ports and the interests of various shipping companies. And those negotiations have been about wage increases and guaranteed protections against automation. The exact contract details are unknown, but it's speculated the union is asking for more than a 50% wage increase and contractual bans on automated technology. But obviously, those negotiations fell through, and the ILA stopped work nationwide. So what kind of economic losses are expected moving forward? Because the longer the strike continues, the more of an impact it will have, and the likelihood of its effects on consumers like us goes way up. I've seen reports ranging from this week alone will cost the economy more than $3 billion to every day the strike goes on, the cost could be up to $4.5 billion. That higher estimate puts the weekly cost at $31.5 billion. Project that out to a month or two, and we're talking about a solid piece of US GDP. Those losses would be the result of businesses not having the raw materials, manufacturing inputs, and finished goods to make transactions. They can't sell what they don't have. And in the case of some industries that import perishable goods, it's not like fruits can sit in those containers until the strike ends. Big sunk costs for those companies. And from the POV of the shipping companies, think about how many fulfillment contracts are in limbo because they can't officially deliver what was promised. And on top of that, the strike also affects the country's ability to export to other countries. I do want to say, economic loss as an aggregate metric can sometimes understate what the effect is on consumers, because we're used to hearing national economic data on the scale of trillions of dollars. It's hard to translate the macro expectations to the point where we're actually buying things at stores. So how is it that the strike can lead to higher prices we're paying at the grocery store, our favorite clothing retailer, or the dealership? What the strike is creating for many of these industries is a supply chain constraint. The term you may hear a lot is a bottleneck. Because goods are locked up, businesses are unable to meet a level of demand from their customers. Very similar to the chip shortage of a few years ago or the COVID lockdowns. When supply cannot meet demand, the prices for existing inventory and products that are available go up. Even if businesses are able to circumvent the closed ports by using air freight or divert imports to the West Coast, the cost it takes to do so will likely be passed on to the consumer through higher prices. Does this mean inflation as a whole would accelerate because of the strike? Probably not. But if this lasts longer than a few weeks, what we'll see is higher prices for the goods and specific industries dependent on these ports. If a car dealership can't replenish its inventory because they specialize in foreign autos, their existing inventory will probably be marked up. If a particular fruit has to be sourced from a different supplier because they rotted away on the docks, expect grocery stores to raise prices on that fruit. If a clothing brand can't get their hands on certain fabrics, those clothes won't be going on sale anytime soon. According to a Michigan State University professor of supply chain management, the 3 imports affected the most are building materials, European wines, and the fruits from our Latin neighbors. But ultimately, again, how significant all this will be depends on how long it lasts. What can complicate our view of the future is that many supply chain experts have talked about how the effect of the strike is asymmetrical, meaning that one day of striking can take several days for supply to recover. So the sooner they can reach a contract agreement, the more predictable the lingering constraint on supply is, and the better off everyone will be. Now, I've seen a ton of mixed emotions on social media about the ILA and unions in general. Some people are loving that they're showcasing the leverage workers can still have. Others are disillusioned by the idea that a single union can disrupt something as significant as a global supply chain. Here's my opinion on it. First, no one can blame those workers for wanting higher wages and more job security. Who doesn't want those things? So the motivation behind the strike is reasonable. But it also highlights how supply chains are still extremely vulnerable to disruption. As amazing as globalization has been for economies around the world, the logistical complexity of it all will always be a weakness. And as for my opinion on unions, look, I can't speak on the net economic effect of organized labor. I've never done a deep dive into it. But I will say this. In my previous job role, I had the opportunity to work alongside several different union groups. There's a lot of great union workers. They're hardworking, they're serious about their roles, and they're clearly skilled experts in the field. Those men and women deserve the benefits and protections negotiated on their behalf. But there's also some bad apples, like every other group in the world. They take advantage of the break system, the overtime rules, and they act like they're untouchable because of the protections of the foreman or floor boss. It introduces a lot of inefficiencies, a lot of time waste, and managing projects between union and non-union labor is super tedious. And it can be frustrating when you need to get things done quickly. That said, I don't believe that the few weak links are representative of unions as a whole. At least in my experience. All right, let's end it there, y'all. Another quick one, kind of quick. The ILA is on strike. Major ports are shut down for now. Price increases for goods in the industries directly impacted will become a reality the longer the strike goes. If you like this type of video, be sure to like this video and consider subscribing if you aren't already. In the description, you'll find my emails for general questions and one-on-one financial coaching if you're interested. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care of yourself and best of luck.